Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria. You guys, the day is here. It's time for a foundation review. It's been so long. It has been, okay, you know what, it's just been too long, I will say it. I love foundation reviews. They are by far one of my favorite things to do on this channel. Ever since I started it, I was like, foundation review. And I quit doing them here for like the last 2 months because if you, again, are relatively new here, I have been like going through this weird skin change where I used to be very oily in the skin department. Like we're talking like inch thick powder, like powder, and then some more powder. And it would work. It looked beautiful. But again, copious amounts of powder. And at some point in the last like 2 months or about 2 months ago, I started putting on my foundation the same way I always had and realizing that, oh shit, my face is different. So I had to go through and fine tune a different routine and really just go through and critique what makeup looks like on my face, how it sits, what it likes, and where it likes what kind of powder. And so throughout the last, about 2 months, I've been going through making this change. And I think that now I am in a place where I have fine tuned it. I have enough products that I love that I am ready to sit down and test a foundation for the first time in a long time. And I'm so excited about it. Like, you guys, it's like not a healthy level of obsession. So today I'm pleased to announce we are diving in to this new foundation from Laura Mercier. This is their Flawless Lumiere Radiance Perfecting Foundation. I don't know. I have the website pulled up. I'm just so excited to test one. Like, I don't even care. It could be a brand that I've never heard of and can't pronounce. I do not care. I'm that excited. So to get started with this foundation, we are going to be going to the Laura Mercier website, which is where I purchased this from. And there's a lot of very interesting information on this that really drew me into it. Let's go ahead and start off with kind of what they say it is, and we'll kind of get into more specifics after that. But this is listed as 15 hours of hydration, weightless, medium to full coverage, naturally luminous finish, which I was like, oh, okay, naturally luminous. Because a lot of times when like brands will say naturally matte, I'm very intrigued. So anytime a brand puts out there it's naturally something, I'm always curious to see what their interpretation of that version is. Because there have been some brands that they're like, oh, it's naturally matte and it looks like the Sahara Desert on your skin. And other ones where they're like, oh, it's a subtle glow and you could literally see your face from space. Like, it's, you know, it really does depend on their interpretation of that. So I'm very intrigued by this concept of natural luminous finish because, like, you know, I don't know. Plus I still have like normal to oily skin. So again, luminous. Is it going to look oily? Am I going to look greasy? There's so many different things. But in the details, it says that this Flawless Lumiere Radiance Perfecting Foundation delivers a perfectly glowing finish that looks luminous in any light. Immediately glow and improved natural luminosity within 1 week. Vitamin C boosts the skin luminosity, revealing brighter, clearer, and more even-toned skin over time. So even without makeup, your skin is naturally luminous. Skin appears more even and the appearance of dark spots are reduced after 4 weeks of use. Powerful 15-hour hydration, to visibly smooth and soften the skin, powered by silver ear mushroom extract. Does that not sound like somebody made that up? Like, girl, silver ear mushroom extract. Dude, you know what would be like so trippy? Mushrooms, like if they had ears. And the weightless medium to full coverage formula looks and feels like a second skin. Flexible polymers melt into the skin to create a long-wearing, comfortable second skin, and color true pigments resist oxidation. All right, I think that that's it as far as what they talk about. So it's luminous, got it, but natural, got it. 15 hours of hydration and weightless medium to full coverage, got it. $48, 1 fluid ounce, not cheap, got it. Now I'm going to try and bring this in here, but it was released in 30 shades, which I actually think isn't awful. I don't even know if you could see that. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not like tech savvy enough to know how to put the picture on the screen. I don't know, you guys, I'm not good at all this yet. But I will tell you that as far as looking through these shades, I really appreciate a couple aspects. I like the shade range. For 30 shades, at least they were much more inclusive, which is great. I know in the past we've seen like, oh, 30 shades of beige, which, okay, no thank you. So I like that aspect. I also love that when they were picking out the descriptions and whatnot for their website, they actually listed the different colors and put the color and the undertone. So like for me, I picked this up in the shade 1N1 cream, and it says fair with neutral undertones. And it's not like that this is something that's super difficult. It's not something we don't see. I just really enjoy when brands add that, because in the world we live in and like all the shades and how everyone has a different definition of this word or that word when it comes to foundation and yada yada, I just think it helps to be able to pick out whatever it is that you're wearing and say, look, I know that I'm probably in this range. I know that I have this undertone, and it just gives you one more aspect that you can kind of narrow down your foundation by, which I think is kind of cool. So now, you guys, I'm so excited to announce to you, I also picked up this sponge. This is the Flawless Finish Makeup Sponge, also released with this foundation. It is $18, and it says in the little description area, again on their website, that this is seamless makeup application, minimal absorption, clean, hygienic laydown. They said here that it has like this S-curve situation, which is like designed to meet the contours of your face, no matter which direction you're patting. I don't know. I was just excited to pick it up. Now, you guys know as of late, I've been obsessed with my Fenty sponge. It is so good and like squishy, and it like presses product in there. I am going to go ahead and wet this just a little bit more because I think it's dried up a tiny bit. I wet it a while ago, and then I had to like change my battery. It was a whole thing. So let me go ahead, wet this, and then we're going to zoom ourselves in. We are going to get started, and we are going to apply some $48 foundation and put it to the test because this is a foundation review, and I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. Paige, shut up. Go wet your damn sponge. Go, go, go. So we're here. We're zoomed. We're ready to go. That wetting this again didn't make it any bigger, so that's interesting. I kind of find it intriguing that they have like this little tiny handle. Like this portion of the sponge is significantly smaller, so you can like pinch it and tap it. But I'm like, what dainty little princess is like, like not me. I got like this big ass face. I'm like, but we will see. So let's go ahead and get into this. I also want to throw out there, I did already prime and prep both sides of my face. I like to put my primer down before I go in and give it a few minutes to soak in. That way I know for sure it's like nice and settled. It's not going to be sitting on top of the skin and causing me any problems. So on this half of my face, I went in with my Tatcha Silk Canvas. I've been using this quite a bit lately, if you can't tell. So I went in, I wanted to have something that was nice, pore filling, that would create that really even canvased effect. And then on this side, I wanted to go in with something a little bit more glowy. So I went in with the Becca Skin Love Glow Essence. This is something that I have been in love with. I really do just enjoy this in general. I loved this when I had oily skin paired with my MAC Studio Fix Powder Foundation. I have a whole video on that. I can link it up here. Such a good, fast, easy makeup application for when I had oily skin. So anyways, I wanted to give this a try today, put it on this half just to see if that glow will come through, if it's going to fight with the foundation. And if you're new here, I do like to put 2 primers on both halves just so that way I have a nice idea of if there's going to be a primer situation. I try to make the primers as different as possible, like these are. One is more serum based, one is definitely a thicker cream base. You know, this one's more for pore filling, this one's more for like glowy, kind of glow from within type moment. So I don't know, we're excited. Let's go ahead, let's move on, and let's get in. Like I said already, this is the shade 1N1 Cream. Let's go ahead and apply some to the back of our hand here. Actually, not a bad color. All right. So I'm going to take my little curvy brush here, and I'm going to kind of, I guess, just, okay. I'm really interested to see if this really does do like medium absorption like it said. Because it said medium absorption into the sponge. Oh my god, this little tiny surface on this sponge is literally killing me. I hate it already. Okay. It's okay, Paige. Calm down. It'll be fine. I just don't like how small it is. Ugh. Like, this is a sponge for tiny little faces. Tiny little dainty faces. I'm not a tiny little dainty face. I'm a big face. Tap, tap, tap. I'm not getting a lot of coverage off of this, so I'm definitely hoping that she is a buildable queen. Also, I went ahead and I just moved you guys out a little bit because I feel like it needed to be moved out. I just didn't think you could see as well. So I went ahead and I've already applied all of that foundation. And I really don't think the coverage is great at the moment. I'm not living. It's very natural, like light coverage. But again, this is one layer. So I'm going to go ahead, grab a little bit more, keep applying. And we're going to build this side up just a freckle. I don't want to go too thick on this because I know it is buildable to full coverage, but a lot of times the thicker and the more makeup you put on, the thicker it actually will look on your skin, and I don't really love that look. So if I can only get it to medium coverage, then that's all right. I got to know, but I don't want to take it too far, you know? We all know that spot. So let's just try to see if we can get a little more coverage over these redder areas. I feel like this sponge, because it's so thin right here, I'm getting so many lines because it's like a little rectangle shape when you're pressing it onto your skin. I feel like I keep getting these little, oh god, these irritating ass lines that when I go in to blend them out, they're like, they're still there, but they're in a different spot. Like, it's irritating. Okay, I don't love this. Now I am going to go ahead and try to do some of this side with a brush. This is the Love is the Foundation brush from IT Cosmetics. These are, I believe, still available at Ulta. These are such a nice little foundation brush. Not only is it super cute, but the bristles themselves just work really nicely for foundation. So I am going to go ahead. I have a little left on my hand, but I'm going to add a little product and go in on this side. Maybe we can get a little bit better coverage, a little faster, with a little less product perhaps. Yeah, definitely better coverage with a brush for sure, which not that that's super shocking, but it does look, I think it's easier to get to full coverage a lot quicker, which leads me to believe that that sponge, although it said it's not picking up a lot of product, I think it is. This is a very interesting formula too. Like, it dries down oddly quickly for being like a natural luminous or whatever it said. That is interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, I like the coverage better with a brush, but I'm not loving the stipple marks. So what I want to do, yeah, this side, by the way, is almost completely dried down. It's not like dried down without any transfer, but it is almost completely dried down. So I'm gonna grab a little bit more foundation and I'm going to build it up a little bit more on this side because it still needs to be built up, but you know, I think that once I go in and I build it up a little bit with a brush and then I go over top of it with a beauty blender to kind of smooth out all the little stipple marks, I think it'll be pretty even with the other side. So we're just gonna go ahead here, get this all over. Maybe, you know, put some on the forehead page. Good idea. Maybe we shouldn't totally forget about the forehead. Shocker. So now I'm just going to go in and I'm using this S sponge again to press over everything I just did with a brush. I need to get rid of all those little stipply marks. They drive me absolutely nuts. But I also want to see if I can press this into the skin and make it look as seamless as it did on this side, which you will never do with this sponge because all you do is leave tiny little lines all over your damn face. Ah, this is driving me nuts. Now I am sitting here noticing as I'm trying to like veil the whole situation and make both sides match, I don't love the way that it applied with the brush even up close. I feel like it's very clingy on this side, like it really grabbed onto any texture, any acne spots, any sort of terrain on my face on this side. The brush just really emphasized and grabbed in that area and then started to dry, which then makes it very difficult to blend that area out. So I don't think I love it if you have that type of area on your face like I do. Don't love it with a brush, but I think it goes on nice and smooth and even with a blender. Don't know that I would recommend this crap thing, but with a regular blender or whatever you're used to using, I do really like it. So now we're going to jump into concealer. I obviously want to see how this works, how this blends. Does it blend? So I'm going to be using the Tarte Shape Tape in Porcelain Beige, which is 8B. And I am going to hit my under eyes and the normal areas I hit with concealer. Not too much because I feel like if I go in really intensely full coverage with my concealer, I'm not going to look very balanced. Because this foundation, oddly enough, is very light coverage through here that I built up, and I'm afraid that because my Shape Tape is so full coverage, it'll just make me look unbalanced. So I'm just taking a little bit. I want to highlight the face without adding too much product. This is what I do every single day. This is literally how I do my makeup. So I love whenever I'm working with a foundation that's a little bit darker than my skin tone, I like to go in and add this type of reshaping to the face. It just helps me when I go to add my powders. It helps everything stay bright where it needs to stay bright, which is key if you're super pasty and all the foundations are always too dark. So many of you are probably like, Paige, why didn't you just put that damn sponge down? Well, that's the thing. That's what's weird about the sponge. Okay, technically it's not bad. Like, it works as a sponge, it blends in nicely. The feel of the sponge, the consistency of the sponge is fine. I just don't like the shape. I think it's an awful shape for any sponge. Oh my god. Number one. Number two, I hate the size because it takes forever to cover literally the smallest area of like your face ever created by man. Like, this is a baby size beauty blender. Okay, it's actually not doing an awful job at blending out the concealer under my eyes. Like, if I'm being honest, it does pretty good at this part. Because it's designed to be so tiny that it fits right up under there. All right, so this is where we're at right now. I love the way that the Shape Tape blended down onto this foundation. I think it looks very nice. And overall, I wanted you guys to be able to see the smoothness that it's bringing to like the cheekle area. The cheekle area, that's a good one. So I don't know, I like the way that it looks through here, which is quite impressive. But I do think there's a big difference in the smoothness, like I was saying, on this side versus this side, which was applied with a brush. I think you can see how, not aggravated, but just how accentuated like the texture and the acne spots are on this side, and just that more terrainy area. You can really see it more enlarged, more, again, just accentuated by the amount of product over here versus the side where you applied it with this, or I applied it, not you. You guys didn't apply it yet. We'll see at the end of the day if you should. But I think that there's a big difference between the two sides. So, and they actually at this moment in time both have very equal amounts of like what's the word I'm looking for, of acne. They have equal amounts of like texture. They have equal amounts of both of that, like right in the same spot. So I wanted to kind of test the theory, and I think I do like it better on this side. So I just wanted you guys to have a good little close-up moment. And it's time to set this business. All right, guys, so now we are here. It is time to set the under eyes. They are good and creasy, which means I need to repat them out with the sponge, and then I'm going to go in. I'm going to set them with my Revlon Colorstay powder. I've actually been using this to set my under eyes quite a bit, and it's working really nicely. This is the Revlon Colorstay pressed powder in 880 translucent, and I don't know, it's been working really nicely. Nice bright powder, very, very light colored powder, which I love for the under eye area. So let's go ahead and get that done. Also gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pat the Hulk out. The Hulk is that crease right there. You see him? He's a beast. He eats everything. Foundation, concealer, whatever it is, he gets hungry and he eats it. So we like to go in, pat him out, and then same brush, same powder, because that's right in the nice highlighted zone of my forehead. And I just go ahead and lightly press a thin layer of this Revlon powder right on in there, just to keep it good and set until I go over the rest of the face. So next up, we're just going to take this Powder Puff sponge and the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless in 100 translucent, and we are going to set the rest of the face here. So I just like to work that product down into this Powder Puff, flick it off like that, get the excess off, and apply it to the rest of my face. Get myself a good, nice, light layer of powder, so it's not too much, but also we can set the whole face. So this has been my really good in-between moment. And if you guys are interested down below, I could probably here in the next couple of weeks, I think I'd finally be in a good enough place to do a updated how I do my foundation routine. And so if you guys want to see that, let me know down in the comments, because it has been a minute. But I think I finally stumbled onto products and procedures that I'm liking enough that I would actually share them. So if you guys want to see that, comment down below and let me know. All right, so at the moment we are looking good, a little bit flat Stanley, but my thought process here is that I'm going to go ahead, finish up the rest of my products, and I'm going to come back on. We're going to talk about how this is sitting, if it's settling down, how it is looking after everything is applied. But as far as like first glance without any other products on top, I'm actually really impressed with how smooth this looks over the cheek area. Like my texture and all of this looks so nice and pressed into the skin. So I'm intrigued at a couple of things. I want to see if this is going to stay this smooth as I add my other products. I want to see how the combination of powders and my setting sprays is going to work. Like I just have so many things. So let me go ahead, finish up the rest of my face, and I will stop back on here in a minute to tell you what I think and give you a kind of it's all done look. So hang tight and I will be right back. All right guys, I went ahead, I got the rest of my face finished up, and I want to tell you what else is on my face just so you're in the loop. So for the rest of my face products, I actually went in primarily with both of these two Hourglass palettes. I just did a full video comparing the two, going through swatches, talking about what I like, why I like it. I will link that video right here for you. So bronzer, blush, and highlight did come out of the Unlocked palette, but I did use this one right here, which is the Ambient, I think this is the Ambient number 4, right? Yep, Ambient Lighting Edit number 4 palette, and I use this one mainly for this beautiful like refining shade right in the center. Push that over top of all the face products. I think it looks so beautiful. And then I used it a little bit under the eyes. I added a touch of the blush to the tops of the cheeks just to give them like a little pizzazzly cuteness. But this is primarily what's on my face. As a little bit of a highlight topper, I went in with my, just take a guess. Okay, you got your guess? Ofra Nikki Tutorials Glazed Donut. Love this. I used just a little bit right here just to give me that little bit extra highlight to the cheek area. It's my thing. I love it so much. And then what else did I do? Oh, Set My Face Urban Decay primer spray. I did go in with 3 sprays of the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. I use this every day and I find that I absolutely love the way that it looks on the skin. And I figured that for today's foundation, because it's supposed to be like that natural luminous finish that they said that it would have, I wanted to play this one by ear, and at the end when I had all my products on, I felt like it could use a little dose of a little melding, a little bit of this luminous spray, so I did go ahead and put this on. I wasn't sure if I was going to, but again, I felt like it needed it. So then for lips, I toyed around with so many different colors and I settled on the cutest little combination. This is the Kim K lip liner in Nude 1, and then I put the Havana Camilo Cabello Loreal gloss in the shade Lip, no, not in the shade Lip Dew. I guess it's just Havana. I don't know what the shade is, but the brown one. And I popped that all over and it is just such a beautiful shine. I love the color so much and the two pair really beautifully together. So that's what's on the majority of my face. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering what is on the eyes. And if you are curious for that, definitely subscribe and stay tuned, because later on in the week, you guys have all been asking for it for how many weeks now? And you're finally going to get my thoughts and review of the Grand Pro Viseart palette. And I love this palette. So you guys wanted a video on it. You wanted me to go through swatches and talk about it. So anyways, this is what I'm wearing on my lids, like 4 colors from this, the Natasha Denona Gold palette, and the Colourpop Bang & Brunette eye pencil in Bang & Brunette on my brows, because I love that Colourpop pencils. Now, with all of those products out of the way, I am really intrigued by this foundation and kind of the way that it has set down and melded with my skin. I have several thoughts so far as to how I think it's going to wear, what I think, and all of those kinds of things. I am going to save them for the end of the day because I want to see how this wears. So far, it's been on my face for like maybe an hour. I've been, you know, filming and I've been doing other little things, finishing my hair, the rest of my makeup. And I love so far the way that it's like sitting and kind of pressing itself into the skin. I don't feel like it's aggravating anything. I don't feel like it's sitting bunchy or cakey or anything to that effect. I have noticed a few things that I think are going to be problematic by the end of the day, but I do want to give it a fair shake. So I'm not going to jinx myself. I'm not going to say anything else. I am going to go do the rest of my day. I have a ton that I have to get done today, so it will be a very good wear test, and I want to see how it wears, if it stays looking this nice, this smooth, and all of that. So let's go ahead, do the day, and I will see you guys here at the end. Okay, you guys, it is the end of the day. This makeup has been on for over 8 hours, and I have some thoughts to share with you. So where do I want to start? You guys, first of all, if I look, oh, I'm wearing an apron. So I just got done filming yesterday's vlog, which I will link up here. We baked chocolate chip muffins and they were kind of good, kind of not, kind of situational. Check that video out if you are curious. But let's talk about this foundation. I don't hate it, but I definitely have some thoughts, and I have thoughts that go all the way back to their website and what they said about this foundation. So I'm going to start with, how does it look? Well, okay, not good. Okay, I don't want to say not good. It looks okay through this area, but from literally, I would say hour 3 or 4 on, we had breakage and cakey looking situation right through here. But throughout the entire day, the planes of the face looked very nice. Like if I'm looking even still currently, this cheek looks beautiful. Now, I want to throw this out there, and I don't think in the history of doing foundation reviews, I've ever been able to see this big of a difference between the sides of my face. But the side with the Tatcha Silk Canvas looks so freaking perfect still over the cheek area. Now, the side that had the Becca glow looks broken up. It looks a little bit more textured. Still looks nice, but not nearly as nice as the Tatcha Silk Canvas. So the first thing I'm going to say is that I think some type of a pore filling, pore minimizing primer, something like that that creates a nice smooth base on your face, I think will work very well with this foundation, because the foundation itself is very smoothing, and I think that that just worked very well in kind of aiding that aspect of the foundation. Now, I don't think that the glowy side looks bad per se. It's just, again, it looks a little bit more textured and a little bit more emphasized. Now, the other thing, like I mentioned already, or I think I mentioned, there was a lot of breakage going on around the mouth, and I'm not loving that. especially like the under nose area, the under the, like on the chin area. Don't love that so much. Right now, my nose looks horribly cakey. Again, the whole, like this whole area, like T-zone-ish area from the nose down to the tip of my chin looks so not good. But for the planes of my face to look this nice, I'm honestly shocked. Now, the forehead stayed looking very nice, and to my shock and surprise, the Hulk didn't absorb much foundation at all. Looks very nice, very seamless up through there. Between my eyebrows, though, definite emphasized situations going on there. I feel like those lines are just much more crackly looking than they normally are. It looks very spackled between my brows. So let me break this down, okay? I'm gonna quit talking about my face because it's obnoxious. You've already seen it. You know the situation. I always talk to you guys and in my foundation reviews, and it's a little different than how most people do them. I always talk about mixing foundations and how would I mix them, what would I do to change this, or what would I add to it if I could. And I think for me, one of the biggest kryptonites of this foundation is how much I had to build it up to get the coverage I wanted over my cheeks. Now right now, my acne and my scarring and that stuff isn't that bad, and I still had to build it up quite a bit to get the coverage I needed. So I'm gonna say that if you need any substantial coverage, this might not be the foundation for you on its own, because when you are building it up on itself, it doesn't look as nice. Now, if you're laying down just a thin layer of this, I think it could be beautiful because it does sit very nicely on the skin, and it has this beautiful like melding technology that I really do enjoy, and I agree with that part of their description. Now, how would I fix this and like how will I make it work for me? I will be testing it out with a couple of products. The first one is my Catrice HD Full Coverage. I love that stuff. Super high in pigment, super beautiful, amazing to work with. I wear it all the time, and I think that it would add the much needed complement of pigment and the much needed coverage that I like to have in my foundation while still giving me the little bit of luminosity that this one has. And it's a matte foundation, so I think the two could work nicely together. Aside from that, I would also, if I wasn't adding the Catrice, I might add the Nars, what is that one? This one, the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Concealer or Foundation, because I think that what I find the most interesting about this Laura Mercier foundation is that they say that it's supposed to be this radiant, beautiful, like lustrous looking foundation, and I actually find it to be less radiant than so many other foundations. Like by far, this is less radiant than the Flower Beauty foundation, less radiant. Actually, you know what? Here, I can just tell you because I've tried so many. Hold on one second. I got a ton in here. I think if I had to like guess, I would say that as far as like the radiance, it's on par with like the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation, which just makes the skin look a little bit healthier. It gives it a healthy glow. It doesn't give it like this super dewy, intense, lustrous look, but it gives it a nicer sheen and a nice subtle glow. Kind of like the Healthy Foundation along those same lines. Less lustrous and dewy than the Lawless Foundation, less lustrous than the Nars foundation, less lustrous than the L'Oreal Pro Glow by a long shot. The Flower Beauty, much less than that. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that really stand out for me. And I think that that's about it. The Stick Foundation from Makeup Revolution, if you use that, a lot less radiant than that. So I guess my point in saying all of this random nonsense is that as far as if you're looking for like that super glowy, beautiful, that type of foundation, you might want to keep going if you're really looking for something that has a super luminous look to the skin. This is beautiful, but you are getting exactly what it says, a natural luminosity. You're getting like, I just went for a walk around the block and it's about 70 degrees. So it's not too hot, but it's also like, it's not so hot that you're like sweaty and glowy, but it's not so cold that like your skin is clammy. Like it's that perfect in between. You went for a walk around the block, so your skin is heated up. It's looking a little glowy, but you're not sweating. Like that's kind of the level we're at. So it's that type of natural. Anyways, so for me, if I had to go through it and use it again, I would mix it with something that was not only full coverage, but I think I would actually enjoy using this with some radiance boosting drops. My Marc Jacobs Dewdrops would be beautiful with this. Something that really could complement the light shine and the light intensity that this gives you for a dewy foundation and just amp it up like a little bit more. But because I also have oily areas of my face, I'd want to be careful with that as well. I'm going to be testing this out. Obviously, you guys know me. I don't hate this this so much that I wouldn't use it again. I actually quite like it if I can make the coverage and those other little things work for me. Now, let's talk about this horrible, godforsaken, evil little demon sponge, which I'm not kidding. If this wasn't $18, I would literally be throwing it in the garbage. I will be keeping this as an immediate, like, I have to have this spare, like in the event that Armageddon happens and literally every other sponge I have is in the garbage or the dog shits on them, because I do not like this sponge. The shape of this sponge is horrible. I do not know what you were thinking, Laura Mercier. This, when you are pressing this onto your skin, it leaves these lines all over the place. You try to blend out somewhere on your skin, guess what? You're getting this set of lines. It's like you get tiny little track marks all over your face from this friggin' sponge. Super irritating. And the way that it's designed, which while I appreciate they wanted to make it ergonomic and easy to hold on to, you can't like flip this like you can with a normal sponge. You can flip these around, okay, blend this. You can flip it to the other side, blend it, okay, flip it over and blend it, and then blend and blend. There's so many options and surfaces and ways that you can use a regular sponge like this versus this sponge where you go in and literally the only surface you can really use is this one, because like you can't, I mean, there's really, no matter what you do, you're only using this S-curve surface. You try to use any of these other surfaces and it feels funny, and the concave of the sponge is odd. I don't like this. Not to mention, it's such a small surface area. You are like, look at how small that is actually physically touching. Like how much of your face you're actually going to cover at one time. Literally what is that? Like an inch and a quarter by a couple inches, 3-4 inches max. Like, imagine if you broke your face down into that many little pieces versus, yet again, this is just the Morphe sponge, the one I have sitting right here, like versus the space you cover. And this is dry. It's double this size normally. So there's just so many better options. You do not need to be spending $18 on this. If you're looking for the best high-end sponge, it's the Fenty sponge. If you are looking for the best drugstore affordable sponge, probably the Real Techniques, but I also love the Morphe. Like, they're both really good. Lately, I've been loving the Real Techniques ones, but I love them both. I use them interchangeably. The Fenty one is the best high-end sponge out there. Don't argue with me ever again, because it's amazing. Now, you guys, I think that actually concludes this video. Oh my God, it feels so good to come on here and do a foundation review with you guys and actually like sit down and have stuff to say about foundation again. Like, I miss this so much. Let me know down below what you guys think, if you liked it, if it was helpful to you. And so many of you have been saying, just as a side note in the comments, that you love how thorough these are, that my reviews, whether it's foundation or eyeshadow, whatever, that I'm very specific and that I give as much detail as I can. And so many of you have been saying that you really appreciate it and that it's really helpful, and thank you. And I want you guys to know that those comments mean so much to me, because I have always gotten the feeling like I overshare, or like I say too much, or I give too much information. And the more that I do this and that I get feedback from you guys, you continue to tell me that for the most part, you love the fact that I give you so much information, that I blast you with literally every single thing I can think of. That's exactly what I give you. And so I just want you guys to know that your encouragement in that respect literally means more than you could know, because I was starting to really doubt myself. And like I told you guys this before a few videos ago, I was really starting to feel like, man, maybe I'm not like the best for this. What if I'm giving them all the wrong info? What if I'm not being thorough enough? What if I'm being too thorough? And so for you guys to come in the comments and be like, no, I love this. It was so helpful. I feel like I'm touching the product, or I feel like I'm putting it on. And that's what I want. I don't want to be one of those people that reviews a product and is just like, oh, it's fine. It's okay. It's dewy. Like, I don't want to be that person, because this foundation is $48 and that's not cheap. And I want you guys, I mean, I don't care if it's $4. I still want to give you the same review, obviously, but I don't ever want to chintz out on a review just to make it shorter so it gets more views. Like, to me, that's just stupid. So anyways, those are my thoughts on this foundation. Let me know what you guys think down below. I will definitely keep you updated on it, how it's wearing, how it's working, all of that. And that is it, you guys. Please don't forget, again, comment, like, and subscribe down below. Like I just said, it means so, so much. And while you're down there, if you want to go on up to that description box, my Instagram and my Twitter are both in there. I have been posting a ton on Instagram lately. I am literally there all the time. I post a ton of selfies. We post pictures of the dogs. I do my little Insta stories. I hang out with you guys throughout the day, and it is so much fun. Now, after you've done this, so now you've commented, you've went and found me on Twitter and on Instagram, such a good time, then you should definitely make sure, come on back here and subscribe, you guys, because I put up new videos 5 days a week. It is a fun, fresh, lit time. We are doing everything from new product, old product, favorites, hate it's just everything you can think of on this channel, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It is so much fun. And you guys, that is it. I'm done talking. I know I go on my little tangents all the time, but thank you so much for watching. Please do not forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Whoa, too close. Too close. I repeat, you are very close to my face. All right, check, baby, 1, 3. Check, baby, 1, 2, 3. Girl, I know you want to hear me. All right, so we are in focus. We have got our lives together. We are going to do this. Woo, all right. Whew. London Bridges is falling down. What are we going to do? And go through kind of how to use it. So be tuned. So be stayed. Okay. Paige, what is wrong with you? P.S. Anybody wondering about today's shirt? Woo! Still fat. Danny Lo Priori, The Basement Yard. Oh yeah.